Welcome back to the third and final video in this three-part series where Jeff has been talking to us all about the actual AWS client, CLI, syntax, and how to put that into practical application with some of these JSON files. In this final video, we're going to talk about all things use cases. There's quite a few different use cases where this might be applicable, and Jeff is going to pick one of those and really just take us through, start to finish, how that would look in action. So Jeff, all yours. Let's talk about some of these use cases.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, so there are different use cases for leveraging IAM and STS, as it's called. Basically, there's three. There's with Veeam agents, there's with a Cloud Connect tenant, and there's also DR testing. Now, when you're doing it with agents, it's for managed agents that are managed by the agent, not by the VBR server. So keep that in mind. If it's managed by the VBR server, it takes care of all these issues. Now, if you want a deep dive on this, you can go to our website and the address will pop up on your screen, but I'll show it to you here. We have deep documentation on this. It's not that it's a complicated topic, but it's one that you have to spend some time looking at. And as you can see here, we start from A and go right to Z. So from creating your bucket in UTB to leveraging your agent IAM STS. So it's all here, and even how to then do a backup with it, I believe. So from start to finish, you can follow through that. So the second case is for Cloud Connect. And with Cloud Connect, it's something similar in the sense that you basically want to limit or provide better security for your Veeam agent connections. We also have in-depth documentation on how to do this from start to finish with your UTB, if you're leveraging Cloud Connect, here at this address here. And as you can see, it's very similar to the one I just showed you, goes right from creating a key forward to doing a connection. Now, the third case is my favorite, and I'll tell you why. I wrote a blog on it, and you can also see that here on our website. A run through of how to create a DR testing environment. And the most important aspect of this is that you want to create a vanilla empty VBR server. You want to emulate a real disaster. And in a real disaster, you're going to assume you've lost everything, except for UTB, of course, because it's immutable. The problem is, though, when you want to test this, and you must test always so you don't run into surprises during your actual disaster if it happens, you need to connect this VBR test server, so it's a separate vanilla server, to your bucket, your repository, in order to do your test restores to make sure that everything works properly. Unfortunately, if you do that the regular way by just getting credentials and attaching it to your VBR server, the test one, that test VBR server will take ownership of the bucket. That is not good because your production VBR server is going to start having issues. So you don't want that to happen. And the workaround is to simply create an IAM policy which is restricted, which allows your VBR test server or DR server to connect to your bucket repository and be able to read and extract backups from there. Well, I mean, extract in the sense of to do restores, but not to take ownership. That way, you can on a regular basis do your DR testing without any problems on your production server. So in this blog that I created, I'm going from start to finish with this process. The key element here is the policy, and the policy is the one that I've got here on the server. We talked about this in the first video. In these actions of this DR policy, you will not see anything which is going to allow the VBR DR server to take ownership. And you can see that right there. Okay, Matt, again, I'm going to remind people, if you want to go through these on our website in the help section, you can use this for agents. If you've got Cloud Connect, you can go from start to finish with Cloud Connect, and you can visit my blog to do the DR testing with IAM policy. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Jeff, thanks so much for sharing all this wisdom with us. And as you guys probably noticed throughout this video, there's a few QR codes. Be sure to scan those and they will take you to the respective pages that Jeff was referring to, just in case you can't see the URL in the box there. And for this last use case you talked about, Jeff, I just want to double down on this. You have to test your backups and recoverability. You need to test it regularly, and this is a perfect scenario of how to implement everything that you've talked about in these 3 videos to make sure that you're able to do that in a real world scenario where you may have lost your Veeam server without the vanilla newly deployed version taking over that bucket. So practical application. You've written a fantastic blog on that we've just linked to. Guys, be sure to check that out and stay tuned. We've got more of these videos coming to you soon. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next one.